Now, for some time now, many movie and music producers have been taking the production of their works outside the shores of Nigeria.
And while the government says producing in Nigeria would improve the economy of the country, stakeholders say producing outside costs less. Now, with the controversy over whether to shoot videos here or not, the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, has come out to say productions for Nigerian consumers must have Nigerian content. Now, Winifred Ajewole has that story.
We cannot continue to develop the economy of other parts of the world from the sweat of Nigerians at the expense of the Nigerian economy.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has denied reports that he said the federal government will ban Nigerian movies and music videos produced abroad. Lai Mohammed was quoted to have made a statement during his recent visit to the headquarters of the Copyright Society of Nigeria in Lagos. Since the purported ban commenced, the minister has come under heavy criticism from directors, actors, musicians and their supporters, who say it is cheaper to shoot abroad and to get necessary equipment.
I know of many of my musician friends who say that, listen, the budget to film a video here, you know, I need maybe about 60% to film elsewhere, and I would get not just the crew, I'll get venue, I'll get models, I'll get a lot more. I'm not happy about that. You know, I'm looking for a time where they'll be able to film here comfortably at an affordable rate and in a conducive environment.
It is illiterate and totally uninformed for anybody to think that banning people from going to shoot movies outside the country or doing musical videos is in any way related to creating a solution. Do you manufacture the cameras that you use in shooting the videos? Do you manufacture the signal cables? Not, you don't manufacture all of that. So it's like standing logic on its head if you think that is how you can solve the problem.
Although the minister says the statement at Kosen was misrepresented, he has moved to clarify the purpose of the ban, saying it is aimed at tackling the perceived loopholes in the Nigerian Broadcasting Code, and the government would not tamper with the aspirations and rights of the artists and the producers.
I would work to amend the NBC Code to ensure that if a program is designated as a Nigerian content program, it must be produced in Nigeria. I didn't say henceforth all music and all films will be produced in Nigeria. No.
Meanwhile, in order to encourage local production of films and music, the minister said that the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission has put forward a proposal to classify the creative industry and grant it a pioneer status. Winifred Ajewole, TVC News.
Okay. The background is set.
The background is set and the statement, the decisive or direct statement from the minister puts to an end the controversy when people said that the minister said that production of movies and videos outside Nigeria will be banned and all of that. Now, joining us to discuss this is a video director and production consultant, Dejo Richards. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome. Right. Now, let me ask, first of all, we know that in the creative industry, there are no bounds, there are no boundaries, as the case may be. But why do Nigerian producers like you and others really just make us understand? Why do you shoot movies abroad?
Well, first and foremost, it's not about shooting a movie or a film abroad.
Or even music videos.
Or a music video abroad. Actually, what it is in the act of shooting a movie or filmmaking, you're telling a story. Okay. Now, when you're telling a story, you need a location and you need a set, just like where we are right now. So in the course of wanting to depict what you want to sell, you might want to shoot epic, so you need to go into the forest or into the bush, or you want to tell a story. Let me give you an instance. Like, for instance, Idris Elba shot sometimes in April. There were 3 locations. Was shot in Washington, D.C., was shot in France, and was shot in Rwanda.
Yes, so it was a Rwandan story.
Yes, it was a Rwandan story. So like what they rightly said, what are you trying to sell? What story are you telling? So the location is based on what you're trying to sell. That's how you as a casting director, you need to look at who's appropriate to shoot that role, to film that role, or what have you. So we need to understand these things because you're telling a story. There's a mind, a filmmaker has what he wants to sell. So the location and the sets, and it also affects the budget. So what are you trying to tell people? What props are you trying to have on that set?
But don't you think the art industry, the entertainment industry generally can actually step in? Looking at what the music industry has been able to achieve over time, of course, in responding to this misunderstood view from the information minister, they're saying, look, we did all of this without government support, and, you know, it was actually a child of necessity. Don't you think the entertainment industry can really close the gap in terms of boosting Nigeria's tourism, for example? When you talk about locations and all of that, Nigeria is awash with locations and what have you. Don't you think you can use music, videos, movies and all of that to actually sell Nigeria?
Okay, I'll say this. It was in the media, some guys, I might not call your name, they went for some event in tech company, and when they were going back, they had to run into the bush and they were robbed. We're talking about security. We're talking about saying things that are not in place for us to be what we're supposed to. I think it's in California or which state in America that the government had to take out the regular light and put LEDs so that filmmakers can shoot. We're talking about infrastructure. We're talking about right facilities to aid these things. You know, there's the Yankari there are so many locations that you can actually go. But the thing is that we're talking about logistic, we're talking about security. So if these things are not in place, rather for you to come and just say that, okay, we have a lot of places, we have locations in Tinapa, thank God Donald Duke did a beautiful and a wonderful job. There's Obudu Cattle Ranch and a whole lot of places. But the reality is the other factors. Okay, I will not want to shoot without having road safety to manage my traffic. I don't want to shoot without having adequate security. A lot of our actors are robbed on set or after they shoot. There are so many things that we need to look at. So, like the last guest said, if the foundation be destroyed, what can you do? Okay. So what's the foundation?
Now, even beyond the issue of, or besides the issue of security and all of that, make us understand, how more expensive is it to shoot a movie or a video or whatever in the country than shooting abroad?
The reality is, what story do you want to tell?
Okay.
It's just the mind of the director. The director has a picture of what he wants to depict. I can shoot a film with just 2 casts in a room. Okay, but if I want to shoot, if we don't have the right location, you don't always have the right location in the place. That's why you can leave the almighty
and the location complements the story.
And go to Africa. It has been done. Blood Diamond. We've seen films shot in Ghana, films shot in Nigeria. So it depends on what you want to tell. So budget is based on the script, based on the storyline. So that's where it tells you where you're going to shoot. So it's not rocket science. It's not just saying, I want to shoot here, I want to shoot there. It depends on what you want to tell. I might have in mind, if this song has a mix of this Mexicano, Hispanic feel, I might go to where I see a lot of Latinos, because look at Yolo Yolo, for instance. Look at the sound infused, eclectic with the Nigerian feel. So it all depends on what you want to do, and you go to the appropriate place to shoot it.
But when you're telling a Nigerian story, forgive me if I use this particular show that is very popular in Nigeria, Big Brother Nigeria. You tell us that it is Big Brother Nigeria, but you shoot in South Africa, which is what, you know, the information minister has said. Doesn't really make sense. Do you think South Africa, for example, would want to shoot a Big Brother South Africa in Nigeria?
You see, isn't
it a slap on the face of Nigeria and Nigerians?
You see, the thing is, we're talking about infrastructure. We're talking about it takes you to have 3 generating sets in Nigeria to have a production company, to run 24 hours and to be streamed live. Okay, now we are talking about countries that they don't have issues with power. That alone, it's a problem. So why would choose South Africa? I am not going to have a generating set if I want to shoot in South Africa, because I know NEPA is dependable, or the electricity there is dependable. So we're looking at these things. So that's why I will shoot there. That's why they did it there. They looked at their cost. In filmmaking, it's about the budget. You hear about the budget and you hear about what they recoup. Do you understand? So if you don't have the budget, it's cost effective for you to go to certain locations, because of your budget. You can't do much without the budget. So it only makes sense if we feel slighted, if the government, like they said, they should make these things available. They should make a more conducive environment for people to shoot. That's what they should look at. They should just not talk for talking's sake. Do you understand? Make the environment conducive and people will be making films.
All right, when we hear of Hollywood and Bollywood and all of that, we see all the elements of the country, patriotic, nationalistic elements that is infused into all of that. Now, if we come to Nigeria, although we see these things, but what is the place of patriotism and the showcase of what we have in shooting and script writing and so on?
Number one, I still will say the same thing. National orientation, the information ministry, and what have you. We need to sell a Nigerian story. Do you have an idea what Aso Rock looks like? We all know what Washington looks like, DC, and the White House. There's even a tourist part of it.
Yeah.
You go, there are certain places in Abuja, if your car breaks down, they'll tell you for security reasons, you see DSS everywhere. So what are you selling? You want to sell how solid, how composed the military is. You want to say,
maybe we can begin to sell those stories that this is our situation.
Yes, we will sell
and use the film or the music video to actually change the narrative.
Apart from being tech and having everything, they've over the years won their battle in your mind. True Lies, Arnold's, Rambo, Sylvester Stallone. They've used these things over the years to school the world and to show their leaders. That's why sometimes when you watch their war in Iraq and you're like, American Marine dying, because they have used their platform to showcase all these things. It all starts in the mind. National orientation, okay? And these various ministries should collaborate with filmmakers, and it should be a policy from government. Okay. Because you cannot, it starts with the mind. Policy from government. Okay. They should know that filmmakers, okay, I was watching television yesterday, your platform, and they were talking about IGR and what have you. Have we thought about how we can, alternative to oil, that actually, if Nigerians truly are the happiest people on the face of the earth, so that means there's something about the Nigerian. Can't we have revenue from filmmaking and telling our stories, and people come and they're entertained?
In fact, the rebasement of Nigeria a few years ago was part of Nollywood and the entertainment industry being captured in the whole mix. But we thank you. Let's bring in Foladele to give us a reaction on social media. I know there's so much buzz this way, that way on social media as far as this issue is concerned.
Nigerians don't care if the minister has come to say, this is not what I said. They're still talking about it. And of course, it's opened up a bigger discussion and a bigger conversation. Yeah. So let's find out what people are saying. Good morning, by the way. Good morning. Light. Creative at Nigeria Summit says, and this was basically setting the record straight, and it says, what Alhaji Lai Mohammed said was, we need to make the infrastructure in Nigeria so good that no Nigerian will go abroad to make videos. Ibe says, this is just about the only Nigerian industry that has evolved very well. Don't kill it, support it. Imagine Brazil banning football.
Whoa.
Emmy of OFR says, instead of paying the tax to other people's country, pay it to yours and help develop this country. Adigbayo Oluwatosin says, does the federal government know how hard it is to edit out the sound of a generator? Oh my. Babajide says, entertainers will stop shooting abroad the same time the president stops going abroad for medicals.
Reality.
Stanley Anya says, do the government know that this is one industry that generates more foreign exchange than any other industry besides oil? They deserve praise. Joseph says, imagine you featured a foreign artist in your song, getting them in their home country for the video self, no day ground. So he's saying, I think what he's trying to say is, so if you featured a foreign artist, then bringing them here might be long, you have to go there. So that's an excuse, I guess, for shooting abroad. Yeah. So I guess that's something you can focus on. But Dejo, let me even ask you this. I don't know if it's playing devil's advocate here, or let me even try to, think about the other side. Imagine if the government did put a ban on going abroad to shoot videos and said, let's shoot our videos in Nigeria. We must do this. There are countries where there's a restriction on how many children can be born. There are countries where there's a restriction on
China, for example.
There are countries where there's a restriction on, social media and the internet and things like that. So what would it be so bad if they said, look, let's just shoot videos in Nigeria. Let's just make movies in Nigeria. Would it be so bad? Is it the worst thing in the world?
First things first, creativity should not be limited.
Okay.
Okay, because it knows no bounds. Okay, when you say that this is the geographical location, you should always shoot a film. You have limited the mind of a creative person, and you must not do that.
Could you run out of ideas as well?
You will not run out of ideas. Yes, you can make something out of nothing, because being dynamic is for you to have little resources and materials and make something out of it. Yes, we can do that. But the reality check is creativity should be extensive. Don't limit people, because God did not make man to be limited. You can always achieve what you see. Okay, so don't limit us to a location. That's why it can never be. That's why you have location managers, you have set designers, you have all these people come together to bring something to reality. So that is not a welcome development. It can be done without ish, but it shouldn't be propagated. It shouldn't be a direction.
Okay, now countries like Ghana, for example, Fola, I guess we'll have to let you go.
Thank you, Fola.
Countries like Ghana, there is a law in Ghana that says for an actor, if you were an actor, for example, if you were going to act in Ghana, you must pay $1,000, and a producer and director must pay $5,000. Do you think it will make sense if the Nigerian government went that way, or are we all not going to be reacting, you know, the same way that, oh, you're stifling creativity and all of that?
See, the thing is,
the Ghanaian government is saying, if for you to bring your art here, pay something into the government coffers.
Nigeria is a very dynamic country. There are certain things that shouldn't be applicable, most especially if we all know that the government, yeah, they've tried their best, but we still expect a lot more from them. So it's just like saying, what have you really done for me to be demanding this? Now, the not Hollywood that you have, which is a name that should be changed, is an insult, because we didn't have sets, we don't have whatever. It's actually not a name we should be here. They should look for something because it's an error. It came as an insult when they say, where are your sets? Where is your village? And the guys then said, this is not Hollywood, so it's an insult. People need to understand. So the reality is, you cannot begin to say these things because there's no background to what they can perform on. So we should not even go there. It's not applicable.
Wow. Okay, well, that would say that issues of taxes. Even in football, we've heard scandals around the biggest footballers in the world where the issue of taxes in their home countries and all of that, every citizen is obligatory for you to pay taxes as far as you're getting monies from the public. But let's put that aside. We're about rounding off now, but give us an idea. When we say government has to create that enabling environment, what is really, can you itemize what that real enabling environment should be?
What is ideal?
Basic of life. Basic. What do we want? Basic.
I'm talking for the movies, for the production.
It's the same agitation, because I need to shoot. It's an extra cost, like they rightly said, to have a generating set. Now it depends on what you want to do. If you want daylight, like you want to shoot with certain HMIs or whatever and you want to shoot like 12 a.m., you need daylight. The KVA generator in which you're renting is different from the smaller ones. So these are infrastructure. These are things that you will need in place that will make life easier for you. Mobility, transportation from point A. People leave Lagos to shoot in other places because of logistics, location, movement, and what have you.
All right.
So all these things.
Dejo, we have to leave it here for now. Dejo Richards, video director and production consultant. Thank you very much for coming on the program this morning.